Marty T Hawkins with you here at Warehouse and Operations as a Career. I hope everyone's enjoying the changing of the weather. I'm in Texas. We don't really see all 4 seasons every year, but I've got to say I'm enjoying the cooler evenings right now. So I've had a couple of questions about what I mean about self-education and how we should be learning something all the time. Carl wrote, I drive a forklift. What else is there for me to learn about it? And Maria asked, what else could I learn about sanitation? You know, we've been talking about our goals and planning the last couple of weeks, and I'm thinking maybe some of us are thinking about making some changes or stepping up, kind of thinking about our futures a bit. So a little about Carl's question. A couple of weeks ago, we bought a used Toyota Counterbalance forklift. It is a model 7FG U25. Now that didn't really tell me anything, so I looked it up online and found a great site at Toyota.com. I learned the 7 was the series number. The F is for the category of the industrial vehicle. F is for forklift, T is for tow tractor, and H was electric jack, and there was a B, and that stood for base leg. The G in my number tells us what type of drive. G is for CNG, LPG, or gasoline. The U meant that it was manufactured in the USA, and T would have meant Italy. The last 2 digits tell us the chassis capacity. 25 represented 5,000 pounds. Now, it'd been a while since I sat on a propane unit, so I went and reviewed, all the startup and shutdown procedures, just kind of refresh my mind on them. Oh, and the operating levers are controls. I ran through the tilt, side shift, and raise and lower controls. Found the horn and the strobe switch for the lights, and of course checked the unit's weight and balance plate. Toyota actually had a page. They actually had a page how to drive a set-down forklift. I'll add it to today's show notes if you'd like to look at it. Anyway, just between those 2 websites, I had picked up about 5 key words I could throw out to a member of management and really spark a conversation with. Something like that is what I refer to as learning. I think of learning as anything that'll get us noticed, up for a promotion, and making more money. Maria mentioned that she does sanitation. I'm not sure what all her job actually entails, but I think sanitation is one of those tasks that we never learn everything about. A few weeks ago, I was putting together a spill kit section in a warehouse, just hanging some brooms and mops over in the corner, and the company had purchased a branded spill kit. It came with a big plastic container of absorbent, a small broom, a couple of trash bags, and a little dustpan looking thing to sweep up the absorbent once it's been applied and done its job on the spill. So you guessed it, my curiosity was piqued a little by what those granulars were, so I pulled up spill kits online. I now know more about spill kits than I thought I would in 3 lifetimes. We could have actually bought a little cheaper kit if we'd done our homework and checked them out before buying this one. We'd never be using half of the things for such a powerful absorbent. Myself, when I think of sanitation, the first thing that comes to mind is chemicals. Maybe becoming a pro at understanding our SDS books and, all those pages is something that she could learn too. My job requires I do quite a bit of training, mainly with warehouse positions, writing policies and procedures, and keeping up with the different regulatory rules out there. I usually make a quick presentation PowerPoint, something simple just to speak to and convey efficiencies in leadership techniques. I had seen a Prezi presentation and wanted to do one. After a few hours on YouTube, I put one together, and now I've given 2 presentations with that particular program. Again, learning can be anything. Like I said, I consider anything that'll get us noticed, gives us some keywords or sentences that we can toss around to management and make us more money or get us promoted to that next step as learning. Well, there's just 2 quick examples of on-the-job learning. We're taught or trained to the specifics of our jobs. I won't say the bare minimum or just what's required, but honestly, just how our management wants us or needs us to get the job done. The self-education or learning I always reference is that next step. I've been using the phrase subject matter expert a lot lately. I think that's what I mean. Let's make sure we're experts at our task and know everything about it, even above and beyond what's expected of us. So let's talk a little about goals and planning. For the last 2 weeks, I've mentioned we're entering the fourth quarter of the year, and I talked about how this is the time of year I tend to start scrambling to make sure I reach all my goals. Well, I've heard from a few of you that you want a promotion or you want to change positions, and I have to assume you'd like to make a little more money too. The question was posed, okay, I want more. How do I get promoted before the first of the year? Now, at first glance, that seemed like a huge want, but I really feel it's possible. Honestly, if we really work at it, I'd say it's doable and we can make it probable even. Now, yes, we have to be sincere about it, and we need to accept that it's going to be a lot of extra work. We're going to have to get noticed by our management, so we're going to have to be an above-average employee, and we need to know more about our jobs than our lead or supervisor does. We're going to have to make their jobs easier for them. That means being productive and effective at our task. We'll need to keep our names off of everyone's desk. By that I mean when our boss runs our name up the ladder, we don't want anyone to know our name already. If they do, it's usually going to be in a negative light. Think about it. If we're always 10 minutes early for our shifts and never call in or miss a scheduled day, HR or payroll never puts our name on any list that ends up with senior management. Remember, our direct supervisor is just that, our direct supervisor. He or she may not see our timesheets before they're turned into payroll each week. If we've made a missed punch or skipped a lunch punch, we're probably going to end up on another report. When our supervisor goes to their boss with a recommendation for advancement or a transfer to another position, it's better that he or she knows nothing about us. They'll take our supervisor's suggestions into consideration and 9 times out of 10, accept it. After all, they've put them in the position to handle these kinds of things for them. But if they know our names due to some report or something we've done on the floor, then some explaining may be required, and that's always going to slow decisions down, if not flat out get rejected. So we have 83 days left in 2018. I think that's more than enough time to realize movement in our careers. If we're already that employee with great attendance and above average at our jobs, we're already well on our way. If we're not quite that employee just yet, then I believe there's plenty of time to get our act together and get noticed like we want. Luckily for us, frontline management, our leads and direct supervisors usually have a short memory regarding our indiscretions. I think we can clean it up for 20 or 30 days and shazam, we'll be on that A-list again. Remember, they're responsible for getting things done, and they lean on those that they can depend on. All we have to do as step 1 is be that person for like 20 days and we're in. Okay, so our attendance is perfect and we're not going to have any issues on the floor. No arguments, we won't be involved in any drama in the aisles, and we're going to speak up every chance we have. Learn something about safety and bring a topic up every 3 or 4 days. If our boss leans towards lifting safely, look up some ergonomic exercises. If they push equipment safety, bring up something on pre-trips 1 week and post-trips the next. I know one supervisor that always throws in something about a clean work area. Maybe a suggestion to add a trash can at the end of an aisle or next to our pallet staging areas. That'll get his attention. See where I'm heading? Become a participant. Help him do his job, giving him or her more time to do something else. Next, we have to be one of the best on our team. As important as productivity is, don't worry about being number 1. Focus on more important things like errors. Don't make errors, and don't cause any damages. Errors and damages cost money, and those types of things are on reports. Remember, it's important to fly under the radar and keep our name off of any kind of report. Our direct supervisor is who we're after to recognize us. In drama, we need to keep our cool on the floor, head down, doing our jobs. Don't get sucked into others' issues. Stay the path. One of the biggest things we can do is check out with our leads and supervisors each shift. A quick, "Great shift, Chief," or "I'm wrapped up and heading out. Do you need anything else?" will get us noticed. 99% of the time, it won't even be acknowledged, but I assure you that it's noticed. Then we need to learn a little about the jobs that touches ours. We need to know the terminology. Of course, what all they entail, but more importantly, why it's being done the way it is. We're hoping to get moved into one of those positions. It's our next step, and we need to be able to talk shop about it to our leads or our supervisors. Alright, so we've accomplished all the above, so it's time to approach our boss about that promotion, raise, or transfer now. We're not going to say, "Hey, I think I deserve a promotion," or "Hey, how about a raise," or "I want to be transferred to so-and-so department." We talked about this more professional approach back in episode 101, I think it was. Let's find a time towards the end of our shift after he or she sees everything's closing down all right and ask for a moment of their time. I always like the approach of something like, "Hey boss, I haven't had a review or any kind of corrective actions and I assume I'm doing a great job. Anything you'd like to see me work on or improve at?" Now, it doesn't really matter if they point anything out or not because we've come to them first. Then I'd follow up with something like, "I'd like to try learning a little more about the company. Maybe I could start helping out over in another department when it gets backed up." In my experiences, we've just told our boss, number one, we'd like to make a move in advance, and number two, we want more money. He or she will understand what we're actually asking, and we'll be the first one on their minds when they need that help. It's going to be work, and we have to put in the time on it, and we should realize it's our responsibility to make things happen. Otherwise, we're just leaving it to chance, and it's more like a lottery at that point. So here's today's challenge. If you're wanting more, let's see what we can get done over the next 11 weeks. Set yourself a goal of a raise or a promotion, even a lateral move. Plan it out. Let someone know what our goals are so they can hold us accountable, and see what happens. I'm certain we can achieve them. If you need any help with anything or don't have a friend to share them with, shoot us an email to host@warehouseandoperationsasacareer.com, and we'll offer up our thoughts or help push you along a little. I wanted to share a little something I ran across this morning. It's an article from theladders.com entitled 6 Things You Must Quit Doing Now to Be More Successful. It kind of goes along with what we're talking about, so I thought I'd share it or at least hit the high points. You ought to check it out. It's actually pretty good. And there's a little of that self-education thinking there, isn't it? So number 1, quit doubting yourself. I think confidence is really key. I mean, who knows more about our abilities than ourselves? Stand firm with our abilities and our weaknesses also. There's no one that knows them better than we do. Number 2, quit putting things off. I could talk for an hour about this one, so I'll just throw out the word responsibility here. We know what we need to be doing. You should read their thoughts on the article. It's actually really good. It kind of goes in depth on that one. Number 3, quit thinking you have no choice. I feel we always have a choice, don't we? We can drive the outcome of our destiny. We just have to take responsibility for it, plan it, and have a goal. Number 4, quit doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Our old friend Albert Einstein called that insanity. Number 5, quit thinking everything is going to work out on its own. One of their sentences is, don't expect your boss to know when you're ready for a promotion. I found that really interesting. And number 6, quit saying yes. I struggle with this one a whole lot. Remember, when we say yes, we're going to have to say no to something else. Usually it's going to be something for ourselves. Anyway, check out the article. It's given me some things to ponder over, and I think you'll find it really interesting. Well, once again, I'd like to thank you for listening in today, and I hope you enjoyed today's topics. Maybe picked up something that you can use in your career. And I also hope that you'll give us a quick like or follow on Facebook and Twitter, where you can find us at using that little @ sign, WHSEANDOPS, on both of them. Let's part today thinking about those 11-week goals and getting them planned out. Of course, with safety being priority one in our lives, we'll leave saying, be safe out there. It's the most important thing we'll do today.